Hey, what's up guys? It's Adam from Lazy Guy DIY, and today we have a very interesting build that we're going to work on thanks to our friends from the Home Depot rental. And what we did was, we live in a 1920s style craftsman bungalow. We have a crazy roof line, we have a little pony and kick walls, and we have this weird wall that was over here. And what I did was I built a built-in dresser. So we basically took this right here and we made our own and we put it in here. It takes up 0 floor space. It is cheaper than a dresser, and it uses up this space that would have just been dead and just kind of a corner anyway. So we're going to run you through the whole build here. Love to hear your comments afterwards, but let's check this thing out. And once again, thanks to our friends from the Home Depot rental, let's get building.
So first up with this build here, I mapped out and marked exactly where I wanted this to go with my dresser. And as you see, I have the marks on the wall here. I was also able to see where the studs were. They were kind of poking through the drywall. So this made it much easier for me to mark and where to cut. I'm just using a drywall saw and I'm cutting right through. If I did have studs that were in the way, which I didn't, I would just use a reciprocating saw. I would cut right through those, because with a kick wall or a pony wall, if you don't know what they are, they're non-load bearing. They're just there to kind of take up space when you have like the odd dormer in place. So I would double check. I can also see there's no electrical, no utility running behind, because there's absolutely nothing over there. But that's something that you want to look at as well. But the big question is, what exactly is behind this wall in this space? And that is where the fun begins. What is the most terrifying thing that you could possibly find? Let's find out. So yes, I did find a haunted creepy doll that had been in there for decades. I covered it up with insulation. I left it there because I don't want that curse following me. But as you saw, I was using my shop vac that I rented, cleaning that up. Right now I'm using the Makita compact saw. It's 8.5-inch blade, so it makes it really easy to take with you on a job site. And now what I'm doing is I'm framing out. I'm using the DeWalt framing nailer. Great to use for doing any sort of stud work or framing. I've used it on past projects, and so I'm framing this space out to the exact size and width that I'm going to need to install this carcass. So speaking of carcass, I built it here, but wait a minute, there's an issue.
All right, wait, I did not show you the full dresser build. And the reason for that is everybody's space is gonna be a little bit different. The measurements that I do are gonna be different than what you do. How you make drawers probably will not be the same way that I make drawers. As you see, these have some dados that are in here, and it's all wooden drawer slide. You can do your own install with store-bought drawer slides. That's fine. So everybody's is gonna be a little bit different, but what I did with mine is I just made a carcass out of 3/4-inch plywood. I assembled it together. I then used the DeWalt nailer, and Brad nailed and did a little bag to it. And then I also have videos too where you can see how you build your own drawer. It's all gonna be different for everybody. So just figure out your own sort of size and shape that you need to. Do very simple with pocket holes, and then get building that way and make sure it fits in the hole. Back to the build.
So after a little bit of finagling, actually not too much, I was able to get the carcass right in here. And as you can see, I pre-drilled it here, and I have 3 holes in the top, 3 in the bottom, and then 1 in each drawer box. And I'm using 3-inch wood screws, and I'm attaching it directly to the frame here, so that thing's not going anywhere. What I'm going to do is show you now how my drawers work with the drawer slides. So as I mentioned, I cut dados inside of my drawers, and what I'm doing now is I'm installing a runner onto each drawer box, and I just use a scrap piece of wood with a dado cut in it, so my runner will line up each time. I'll give you a better look here in a second, but you can see I cut little holes in there so I can actually use my nail gun and nail that runner into place. What you can see, here's a closer look, is I put a piece of underlayment there as a spacer for each drawer, so it's not a friction fit, it's going to be floating. Put a little wood glue on that runner there. I'm going to put it in the drawer box. It's going to line up the same every time. I'm going to push it back so we're in the right spot. And then I'm going to use that DeWalt brad gun here and tack it in. And this is actually a good technique. I use it on furniture all the time. I've used it on recent builds, and it's not going anywhere. So there you go. Fits, slides, and it's so much cheaper than buying individual drawer slides. I like it. Saves money. But onto the build here. We are now putting up trim, and this is using the 18 gauge brad gun to tack these in place again. And what I ended up doing was I bought a door kit that was at my Home Depot. This fits a door, and I cut it 2 sides with my Makita sliding miter saw. and just tacked it right into place here with the brad guns. And then just be conscious where you're leaving holes, because you're gonna have to patch these, and just make sure that it's somewhere that you can easily sand and easily paint. With these, there's quite a bit of detail here with the coping, and so you don't want to put holes in those little coping rails. You want to be able to put it where you're going to easily patch it. Last step here is to attach the drawer faces. I painted these up. I did a little chamfer on the sides, and then I pre-drilled, and so now I attach it here. I'm going to pop it right in, and then I'm going to run a screw from the back for the knob. Once this is in place with the knob, I'm going to then take the 18 gauge brad gun again, make sure my brads are the right length, and then I'm going to tack this sucker right into place, and then my drawer boxes are good to go. After that, I'm going to add a little bit of caulk here, going around the edges of the trim, anything else in the drawer box that needs to. You can see I have some patching there that needs to be sanded and painted, and that is it. So let's check this build out.
All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this build here. I need to put some shirts away and some laundry, conveniently a Lazy Guy DIY t-shirt, but hopefully you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear some comments in the feed, and make sure you check out more videos by me down here from Lazy Guy DIY. And while you're here, make sure you subscribe up here as well to my channel, turn notifications on, and check out more great builds. Thanks for following, guys. Catch you on the next build.